Good.
That was
Okay.
good.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move into our land acknowledgement. I did not assign anyone this week, so I will be reading the land acknowledgement. Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. This was also the site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other Native tribes. We recognize Indigenous peoples as the original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU is founded as a land grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion, and significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment. Carrie.
All right, to accommodate for our missing members that are all upstairs, and will not be back until 8 o'clock, I want to move around the agenda a little bit. First of all, I'd like to move beginning roll call to just before confidence business.
There's been a motion to move beginning roll call to right above confidence business. Is there a second?
Second.
All for?
Aye.
All against? This motion is adopted.
Okay, the agenda will let me edit it. I'll make that change in a second. Second, I would like to rearrange the agenda to, before we pass the bylaws, to put all reports above confidence business.
There's been a motion to put all reports above confidence business. Is there a second?
Seconded.
All for?
Aye.
All against? This motion is adopted.
Okay, and then to accommodate for the missing president and the missing parliamentarian, I would like to move executive reports and the parliamentarian report to above adjournment.
There's been a motion to move executive reports and parliamentarian reports above adjournment. Is there a second?
Seconded.
All for?
Aye.
All against? This motion is adopted.
Cool. That's all I have.
Are there any other motions at this time? Seeing none, will the acting parliamentarian please reflect those changes? And will the clerk please begin roll? Or, sorry, we will now move into consent agenda. Is there any dissent to last week's minutes? Seeing none, we'll move into gallery input. Is there any input from the gallery? Seeing none, we'll move into, yeah, that is up to our confidence business.
No,
No,
it's not. No,
my
we're at gallery input, swearing in senators, guest presentation, judicial reports.
right. We'll now move into judicial reports. Is there a member from the judicial branch present?
Take your time and open up for questions. You have so much time.
Okay, oh, no, my hand. Is that ready? Okay, so it makes it a little bit easier that it's a little bit smaller because there's a lot to talk about. And I'm really sorry it's going to take a minute. So unfortunately, on last week, we had the elections manager resign for the elections this year. It is an HR policy that we're not allowed to talk about personnel. So I can't answer any questions about anything that happened there. But I am happy to answer any questions about what's going on after I finish everything I kind of have to say. So we did kind of look into this whole process, and y'all, I mean, it was a process of going through and seeing who is willing and able to take the position. And after I'm not kidding, 15 meetings. We had a meeting with leadership earlier today, and I believe we are doing a joint order with the 3 branches to fill the position with Deputy Chief Justice Gemma Boyenko. She will be stepping down from her position as deputy and filling in the elections manager position. And this is going to be a joint order from the 3 branches. Does anyone have any questions or want to talk about anything? Sorry, I don't know if I was allowed to do that. I'm really
Senator
sorry.
Carasado.
How will this affect our upcoming elections, if at all?
Yeah, absolutely. So the only thing it will affect is who's running them. This way makes it so that we are able to keep our timeline for the elections without shortening campaigning, which, you know, is a big concern for a lot of people. It allows us to keep debates. It allows us to keep all of the like timing, marketing already planned. And it doesn't actually change anything. We get to keep the voting dates as well.
Are there any other questions? Senator Trout.
Just for clarification, what exactly does a joint order pertain?
Yeah, absolutely. So a joint order can also be viewed as an executive order, except it's from the 3 branches. It's just saying that for the time being as an interim, Gemma, sorry, I don't really know what to call her at this point, is going in as interim until further notice, which will be indefinitely.
And that would be with like Senate leadership, executive branch and judicial. Okay.
Yes,
perfect.
absolutely.
Thank you for that. I yield my time.
Are there any other questions? Senator Correa.
So again, who did you say would be stepping down?
Deputy Chief Justice Boyenko
Okay.
is going to be stepping down and filling the elections manager.
So would she be stepping down permanently for the entire year, or would she step, okay, permanently? Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none. Thank you. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the end of our business until confidence business.
No.
What do we have?
Next is committee reports.
Awesome. We will now move into committee reports, beginning with internal affairs.
All right, I am at the front. I am being the interim parliamentarian until Kevin Clark gets back from upstairs. Internal affairs tried to meet this last week, but only Chair Welch was able to show. So we decided to adjourn early. We will be meeting this week again to look at all the legislation that we were seeing on the floor this week, along with a brief look at the legislative cabinet retroactive audit. We meet at 4 on Fridays in the conference room. Please come and take a look at all the legislation. Thank you, I yield.
University affairs. Senator Trupp.
Hi, also Chairman Welch is not here at this point. The only thing he wanted me to, and he appointed me to the University Affairs report. The only thing he really wanted me to address or to talk about was that we have our meetings from 4 to 5 on Thursdays in the conference room. Be there. It's great. We'll talk about pretty much everything that we passed today, if applicable. So thanks for that. I yield my time.
Budgetary affairs. Is there a member that attended budgetary affairs this week that would like to report on what happened?
Budgetary affairs did not meet this last week, but their new time is Wednesdays from 5 to 6, so just before Senate, and their location is still to be decided.
We will now move into caucus reports, beginning with Women's Caucus. Is there anyone from Women's Caucus that would like to report? Seeing none, we'll move into Diversity and Inclusion Caucus. Is there anyone from Diversity and Inclusion Caucus that would like to report? Officer Doxey, Taurus Doxey.
Yeah, so hi everyone. This is a message from Chair Ritter. Yeah, hello everyone. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to Senate tonight. I know all of you look lovely if no one has told you today. I wanted to let you all know that DNI caucus is bi-weekly, so we will not be having caucus this Friday. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night, and I will see you all next week. Love and hugs, Mia.
We will now move into legislative officer reports, beginning with Speaker of the Senate. I do not have much to report. We're going a little fast, so we're gonna probably aim for a break in a little bit here. I would at least entertain that motion before we get to confidence business. Yeah, I don't have much to report. Legislation is due at 6:30 on Wednesdays. So if you have legislation, anything submitted now will be on the floor, not next week, but the week after, if that makes sense. We go Wednesdays to Wednesdays now, just how we're gonna operate. And then, yeah, if you guys need anything, y'all need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here. I usually come here in between my classes, so you'll see me around. don't feel afraid to reach out. And I will yield to Speaker Pro Tempore for their reports.
I know we're going pretty fast, so I'll take my time. First off, Senator Sandoval gave suggestions to post my office hours. So I thought that was a great suggestion. So they're officially posted on the Senate office. Second is me and Senator Sandoval also were working on what we call now the RAMS de-stress events. And we have seen massive and great support with that. So thank y'all for supporting that. And we will possibly have a presentation up here in Senate someday to see just support from the Senate on who can make those times, et cetera, and just help us out with manpower and et cetera, like that. Three, and for those interested in the Speaker Pro Tempore, I will repeat this for next Senate session when we have more people here. Speaker Pro Tempore position, please check your attendance for next year, get with your counselors, just to see if you can be able to do it. If you are interested, please come to me so I can educate y'all in the position. And however, I cannot help you in terms of your campaign, and any resource I give you, I must give to others. So that's all.
Recruitment and Retention Officer.
Yeah, hi everyone. I know we're going pretty quick. I have an opportunity sent by just your all Mr. Slice. Let me just open up that email. Sorry. It's called Campus Step Up. It is a annual retreat. This year's theme is celebrate Black leadership, deconstruct race and racism in America, and plant sustainable movements for change. It's just kind of a retreat to talk about like systematic issues in the United States and just educate and learn a little. And that's March 19th and 20th. It's in person. And if you have any questions about that, please let me know. We can also send it out in next week's ASCSU email. So yeah.
Thank you. I'm now going to open up 10 minutes for Q&A. If y'all have any questions for us, this is a time you can do it. If you don't have questions, that's totally fine as well. But any questions for Senate leadership, y'all may ask at this point. Terry.
Okay, I don't have a question. I just want to clarify that we're trying to increase a lot of transparency in the space, and I recognize there aren't a lot of people here, so there are probably people with questions that aren't here. But if any of your friends have questions that you could then relay it back to them, please ask so that everyone knows what's going on, because it's been a very confusing time.
I'm going to go ahead and do this again after parliamentarian reports later. So if y'all have any questions later on about anything going on in Senate or legislative leadership, just keep in mind that'll be open later. All right. We will now move into Senator and Associate Senator reports, beginning with the first race placard.
Okay.
Senator Williamson.
Sorry, I found a lollipop. It's pretty good. So, I had something to say and it has gone from my mind. Anyway, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Charlie Williamson, they them pronouns senator for Pride Resource Center. Couple updates / events. If you're not already subscribed to the Pride newsletter or follow us on Instagram, we have events almost every week. The CSU drag show is officially happening and coming back. So there'll be more info about that coming soon, but it's obviously a really fun thing. Any proceeds from that will be going to the CSU LGBTQ+ Scholarship Fund, as well as we will be having student performers. So if you know anybody that likes drag or wants to do drag, let them know the drag show's happening and they can perform or do a workshop with a couple of the professional queens that we will be inviting. What else? Not technically my concentration area, but the School of Music, Theater, and Dance is putting on She Kills Monsters that I'm in. Tickets are free for students. There's shows this weekend. If you've ever played Dungeons and Dragons, that's kind of what it's all about. So it's super fun. So yeah, come see She Kills Monsters if you can. I'm trying to take up time and I'm running out of things to talk about. Cool, I'm good. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, no need to take up time if you don't want to, but drag show sounds awesome. I encourage everyone to go. Next race placard, I saw someone, Senator Terrasato.
Yeah, you saw me. Hi, guys. My name is Kimberly Carracedo. I use the she, her series pronouns, and I am the senator for Centro. So we have a couple things. I'm going to talk a little slower. I normally talk fast. So I don't know if any of you guys know what Murals is. Murals is the Multicultural Undergraduate Research, Art, and Leadership Symposium, and they're having some abstract drop-in hours. If you need any help with any projects that you're working on, that's what they're there for. It's on Mondays. Oh, I'm so sorry. Mondays and Thursdays. It's on Incentive page. There's also, this isn't necessarily my area of expertise, but as an SDPS office senator, I'm kind of just aware of all things that happen. The Rams Against Hunger drop-in hours have also been posted recently. So those dates are March 2nd, April 6th, May 4th, from 4 to 5 in the RAH office. So you can learn about a bunch of things that Rams Against Hunger has, and I'm very grateful to be one of the recipients. And I utilize that resource all the time, especially if you are a off-campus student. Please, 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 please learn about Rams Against Hunger. Don't know if this applies to anyone in here, but there's a Central and South American and Caribbean meetup tomorrow. So if there's any identity that you hold in any of those regions of the world, I know for me, it's always been hard to find people that identify with any of those regions of the world. So it's a space meant to help make connections. And that's all I have. I yield.
Awesome. Are there any other senator, associate senator reports? Officer Torres Doxy.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm a senator for APAC. I use the he, him series pronouns. We have some March events coming up, and that's through Try to Understand, which is like a weekly just discussion circle facilitated by people in APAC and stuff. So the first one is March 7th. That's next week. Dealing with burnout. It's a de-stress event. Come chat about managing stress and decompress with mahjong and video games, and take home a skincare kit. So if you're interested, please go. It's Monday from 5 to 6. And then March 21st, we have Acknowledging Swana, a discussion with and celebration of Southwest Asian and North African students in collaboration with Real Talk from the Black and African American Cultural Center. And the last one of the month is March 28th. And that is Violence Against Women of Color, which is a reflective and supportive space to discuss the racialized nature of violence against women, since it will be the anniversary of the Atlanta spa shooting. And that's all I have. Please attend. I'm going. So yeah.
Are there any other Senator Trout?
Hi, y'all. I just found a lot of things to talk about, so bear with me. I like to talk. So as our incredible senator from Pride Research Center, Senator Williams, had stated, attend Chico's Monsters. I did it in high school, and it's a really fun show. But that's not the only event that's happening at the UCA. Tomorrow night, we have our jazz ensemble in the Griffin Concert Hall. Addition on March 4th, we have our concert band performing. And again, most of these for concert performances, you can live stream tickets. For theater performances, can't, unfortunately, but again, tickets are free for all these events, so please go. March 9th, the CSU Wind Symphony Chamber Ensemble will be playing at 2:30. And then, let's see what else. On March 9th at 7:30, we have concert choirs doing their first performance, and then that's it before spring break. And then I had something else. Also, for anyone who wants to do any theater performances, there are auditions for the for the production The Wolves in Spring Awakening, which will be happening on April 23rd. Is that correct? Perfect. Yeah, that would be really cool. Additionally, I do have some projects that are focusing on student workers and pay equality and whatnot. And have a lot of ideas. I just don't really know where to start. So if you are interested in helping me out with any of these projects, I have a handful of them that I would love to get, really pushing through. So if you want to help me with those, please see me after Senate or shoot me an email or text message. That's all I have right now. I hope y'all are doing great this semester. It's been a long semester, but break's almost here. So with that, I yield to the chair.
Thank you. Are there any other senator or associate senators that would like to report? Seeing none, Senator Carasetta.
Hi, y'all, me again. So quick question, do any of you guys like to dance? What? No one? Okay, well then be more enthusiastic about it, guys, come on. So speaking of dance, El Centro is holding Bachata Night. So if any of y'all know about Romeo Santos, Aventura, or just have heard Bachata, it's very vibey. And on March 8th and 9th from 5 to 7 in the North Ballroom, so just right upstairs, El Centro, along with the Black and African American Cultural Center, El Centro, and the Pride Resource Center, are going to be learning about the history of bachata, a type of social dance originating from the Dominican Republic. Join us for 2 free dance lessons, instructed by Angelica and Harihara from Inlapec Dance Academy. If I am correct, they did a virtual event with us last semester. And these, especially in a lot of the Latin American dances, it tends to be very masculine and feminine, and they deconstruct that just to make it just people dancing. So again, that's on March 8th and 9th from 5 to 7 in the North Ballroom. And I yield.
Y'all have to come back and show us some dance moves. Senator Williamson.
It's really fun. I went to the online one. Makes it feel cool. So I forgot, the Pride Resource Center is working with Campus Rec to do our Out in the Rec series. So this is basically a collaboration between the Rec Center and the Pride Center. There's a bunch of different dates, and I can have those sent out, but there's like a cycling class, the climbing wall, the weekly dance Brazilian beats class, and just Pride outside into a rock climbing trip. So that's welcome to everybody, but it's a really cool collaboration of free things to do in the Rec Center. Thank you, I yield.
Awesome. Are there any other senator, associate senator? Yes. Senator Epperson.
Yes, hello, Senator Epperson. I use she, her pronouns. This week is Social Work Month, so the College of Health and Human Sciences has a lot of awesome events that are open to everyone. A few of the events are mindfully managing stress, which you can do on Zoom. There's a de-stress event with animals, like where you can just go pet and play with them. There's trauma-informed yoga classes, women in business events, health and exercise science talks, a lot of great things. Unsettling universities, colonialism. But yeah, a lot of great events that you guys can check out. And if you want, I can send everyone the link. I yield my time.
Awesome. Chair Andy.
Per the removal of the mask mandate effective tomorrow, March 3rd, I want you all to think back from the email from Roy Lowe that I read 2 weeks ago. A reminder that every single one of you represents my constituents, and every single one of you needs to think about the impacts of this to the disabled community. I know you might personally be excited for the removal of the mandate, but please recognize that the removal of this mandate is a slap in the face to my entire community. It is further proof to us that Colorado State University only cares about being a business and what is going to make them the most money, not caring about the lives and well-being of all of our constituents. Please take this into account as you make your choices. Additionally, because of the removal of the mandate, ASCSU cannot make its own decisions regarding this. However, I personally can. As of tomorrow, personal meetings with me or anyone wishing to interact indoors within 6 feet of me will need to be wearing masks. I am unwilling to compromise on the safety of me, my family, and my constituents. I yield.
Thank you. Are there any other senator or associate senator reports? Seeing none, at this time, the chair would encourage a motion to take, I would say 20-minute break to allow everyone to come back from the event going on. Senator Carasada,
I motion for a 21-minute recess.
there has been a motion for a 21-minute recess. It has been seconded. All
Can I
four.
amend it to just straight half an hour so that we get back at 8:05, giving people to return enough time to return?
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All four?
Aye.
All against? This motion is adopted. We will now be back in 30 minutes. Oh, my bad. I was like.
If anyone is interested in campus step up, I can send you a link to that.
If everyone could be back in this room and ready to go at 8, that would be perfect. We're good?
Please bear with me. Chair Athey.
Here.
Speaker Pro Tem Baum, here. Senator Bildo,
Present.
Senator Brown, Senator Burge, Senator Colasetto, Parliamentarian Clark,
Present.
Senator Correa,
Present.
Senator Deason, Associate Senator Dorak, Senator Epperson,
Here.
Speaker of the Senate Hunter,
Here.
Senator Kramer, Senator Long, Senator May,
Here.
Associate Senator Morgan, Senator Mumford,
Present.
Senator Nivert, Chair Osterhoff, Senator Pyfrom, Associate Senator Quintana, Associate Senator Reeves,
Present.
Chair Ritter, Senator Sandoval, Senator Shepherd,
Present.
Senator Scherer, Senator Silverheart,
Present.
Associate Senator Tafara, Senator NT, Officer Torres Doxy,
Present.
Associate Senator Torres Peralta, Senator Trout,
Present.
Present.
Chair Welch, Senator Waller,
Present.
Senator Williamson,
Present.
just barely.
That means quorum. We will now move into confidence business. Will the parliamentarian please add 2 hours to the confidence clock? We will begin with new business, starting with bill number 5113. Will the parliamentarian please read the title and abstract?
Bill 5113, abstract. This bill seeks to fund or to find funding to recreate the 2017 ASCSU Green and Gold Introduction Book to create inclusion for new members, both current and future.
Is the author present? You may present.
Okay, so I was digging through some history things of ASCSU and found an introductory book that Speaker Brown in 2017 and 2018 printed and handed out at the fall retreat. That book contains brief definitions of Senate, judicial, executive. It has parliamentary procedure. It has advisors and staff that you should know who work at CSU, like McConnell and Mike Ellis and Pamela Norris and all of those kinds of people, as well as some specifically history things to ASCSU, such as I learned that there is that the gavel is from 1991 that the speaker uses. Learned that the president each year gets handed a briefcase, the contents of which is only known by all of the presidents. President Dixon does not have the code to that box, but he has it. There's also a bowling pin that gets given to the speaker that has a note in it that is only known to speakers. Can't figure out how to get it open, but we have it. These traditions would not be remembered without this green and gold book being found, right? So I have started the process of trying to recreate that and update it and make it functional for this ASCSU and make it as universal as I can, because the old one has the Constitution as it was, the bylaws as they were, the job descriptions as they were. All of those documents are super out of date now. So I intend to make the new one have QR codes to the website so that, we don't have to reprint them every year. We can just keep handing them out until we have to print new ones. So plan on creating a new book. Because of that, I need $5,000 from the Senate so that I can print these books and so I can print some stickers with QR codes to what will be the digital version on the website so that anyone who doesn't want a hard copy of the book can access it on the website. In printing those, I have not found the information for how much stickers cost, but the book itself costs around $10 each to print. There are around 110 members in the Senate right and in ASCSU as a whole right now, so that's $1,200. And I'm asking for 5,000 so we can print them for this year. And then if we are liking them, we can print them for the fall retreat for next year. And then if they still like them, they can ask for more money and print more later. So that's all I have.
I'll now open time for Q&A, starting with the first race placard, Senator Correa.
I think I missed this, but what exactly are we going to print in that book?
Did you hear the old copy of the Green and Gold book? Did you hear me explain that?
I heard it, but I didn't quite get it.
Okay, so the old copy, and if anyone, I have that book with me, but I'm unwilling to present it to the Senate for accessibility reasons. If anyone wants to look at it after Senate, hit me up. But it has general information about Senate, judicial and exec. It has parliamentary procedure. It has information on advisors. It has important phone numbers, important emails, important names to know. General, everything someone newly entering the space needs to know to be able to understand what's happening, because all of you have been new to this space at one point in time and it's really confusing. So that's the hope, is just to print like a how-to book, how-to ASCSU book, if that makes sense.
And would the book be given to folks if they want to, or will it just be handed out to them when they join the space?
Both. So the books will be given to anyone who wants them now, because as soon as they're printed, because we are all already here and deserve to have the book also. And then from there on, anyone who joins ASCSU can have a book, or they can have get a sticker with the QR code to the website location of the book. And the sticker goes for anyone now also. So you can have either the hard copy or the digital version, or both. That's up to everyone.
Okay, and last question. I just wanted to know, is there any specific significance to having a book? It's when, it could be online and you wouldn't really have to spend this money. Any like significance to it?
Yeah, so for however many years now, we've been nearly an entirely digital organization. All of our documents are online. If we didn't have, if Speaker Brown hadn't printed this book, I wouldn't have access to all of the information that I learned in just reading that book after I found it. And I think that printing it both provides that history for someone to find 5 years from now and be like, oh, this is what Senate was like. Another fun thing that I found in that book was that there used to be a cork board on the back wall in the office that anyone could print out their legislation and put it up there so everyone can read the legislation before it hits the floor. And that's how people were getting in their endorsements, rather than trying to scramble and make friends that have to endorse the things all of the times, right? So anyone can endorse their legislation because it's on a corkboard board. We wouldn't know that that corkboard existed. We wouldn't know the history of the gavel or the bowling pin or the briefcase if we didn't have that book. So I think that printing out, having a hard copy of that history is really important. In addition, it gives people who do like to write things a place to take notes on stuff. So you can take a note on, like I plan to put parliamentary procedure stuff in there, right? So you can take a note of, this is how I might say this differently, but it's still saying the same thing. Or, oh, this person said that, I could do that, cool, I'm gonna write it down. Gives people a place to take notes if they're a notes-taking person. And I don't want everyone who likes to be digital to be forced to have a book. That's why people will get a QR code if they would like instead. So you can access the digital version. But anyone who wants to have that hard copy can. And also it creates that history for it to be found somewhere in the future.
Okay, that would be all I need. Thank you.
Are there any other questions, Senator Trout?
All right. So what would the timeline be? Because it sounds like you want this to be done for this session. Do you know roughly the time frame if everything goes well in terms of it going through committee, passing through committee with flying colors as it will, and then coming back next session or next session, getting that passed? What would the timeline be, estimate-ish, if that makes sense?
So I have most of the new version written. I have it shared with the current Deputy Chief Justice Boyenko. I have it shared with President Dixon, Vice President Derbasatic, and Parliamentarian Kevin Clark, so that we can all be adding to it and making it be up to date. I hope to have that book done by the time it's out of committee and this bill passes. And at that point, fast print is the location that obviously we'll be printing through because we like to reuse our money within CSU. It seemed like they had same day turnaround for some printing, so I'm going to give it like a week or two, probably, assuming that. So within, a month and a half, it'll definitely happen before, we switch over into the new Senate.
Awesome, thank you. I yield.
Are there any other, Senator Epperson?
Hi, Senator Epperson, Chief of Pronouns. I was just curious how you were planning to include the judicial branch, because as of right now, there's no information or nothing about judicial. It just says collab with the Vice President and Chief of Staff and Advisors, but however, there's nothing involving the judicial branch. So how do you plan on updating that to include them?
I forgot to put them into the bill. I have already spoken with the judicial branch. Obviously, I will need to change that as current Deputy Chief Justice Boyenko is not going to have that title anymore as of this evening. So I'll have to be working with someone else in the judicial branch, but I have already been speaking to them to make sure that they are included in writing the book. Bill needs to be updated. That's why I guess committee. Thank you for finding that.
Awesome, thank you. I yield my time.
Currently, we no longer have quorum, so unless there is a motion to suspend the bylaws, we will have to adjourn. Or at least pause.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Hey, point of information, isn't there quorum until somebody calls for quorum? Somebody call for it.
Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah, so we will keep going. But unless there's any other questions. Senator Waller.
Yeah, thank you. I was curious, would you be providing enough booklets for every current member of ASCSU to receive one potentially if they want to?
Yes, so the budget that I made for books alone, I didn't quite do stickers. That was added in kind of last minute. Books cost about $10 each. I did a lot of rounding up, got to around 110 members. Definitely there are less people than that. And that comes to $1,200. So I'm asking for $5,000. And so there's plenty to give every single person a book if they want one. Plus to have plenty also for the fall retreat next year.
Okay, thank you. I yield my time.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, we will enter our secondary speakers list. Senator Correa.
Yeah, so according to this bill, are you asking for 5,000 or 5,000 plus 1,200?
I'm asking for 5,000. The $1,200 is an whereas clause just to show how much all of the books total will cost.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Are there any more questions? Seeing none, this bill will be sent to Internal Affairs. Thank you. And
Oh, yeah,
budgetary.
budgetary.
Yeah. Yep.
Wait a minute.
We'll now move to Lex 5101. Will the parliamentarian please read the abstract and title?
Lex 5101 abstract. This Lex seeks to remedy a mistype of a change to the Constitution from the 50th Senate.
Chair Apey.
Per author rights, I've moved to table this to next week as it did not get sent out through the weekly email. And accessibility reasons, it's not urgent. It needs to wait.
This Lex has been tabled to next week. We'll now move to
Information, it was, right? No?
No, the only 5110, 5113, and Lex 5102 were sent out in email.
regardless, this has been tabled by the author. We'll now move to Lex 5102. Will the parliamentarian please read the title and abstract?
Lex 5102, constitutional amendment in the absence of a Senate officer. Abstract. The purpose of this lex is to amend the Constitution of the Associated Students of Colorado State University to provide specific guidelines for the elections of Senate officers. These elections shall be held no later than 15 business days after the abdication of the previous holder.
Is there an author present? Speaker Pro Tem Baum.
Point of clarification, the author has been notified me to table this lex for next Senate session.
This lex has been tabled. We'll now move into old business, starting with bill number 5110. Will parliamentarian please read the title and abstract?
Bill 5110, funding for the expansion of the all-gender restroom pilot program. Abstract, this bill aims to receive $6,000 for the continuation and addition of 30 more permanent QR code wayfinding signage for all gender restrooms on campus.
Is the author present?
Yes, I'm here.
Will the parliamentarian please present the confidence business report?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And so this is my report, combining both budgetary and university affairs edits into Bill 5110. It's not technically conference committee. I'm going to go ahead and just remove that now because we did not convene a conference committee. However, these changes have been combined for your convenience. Most of them are clerical additions and do not conflict with each other. However, there is one major change that I will state at the end. Starting with the clerical changes, we have the money sent over to the ASCSU General Discretionary Fund that was mentioned by Budgetary Affairs. There was this clerical change right here that students continuously having trouble finding and accessing all gender restrooms, even in the buildings that currently Substrike do have all gender restrooms. And then as well as some strikes right here that the 51st ASCSU Senate allocates this amount of money towards the creation. Let's see here. And then also changing this therefore clause as well to add that any remaining money in the all gender restroom budget by the end of fiscal year 2023 be returned to the ASCSU fund ballots. Also another change here, just noting that Jackson Hunter is now the Speaker of the Senate. The major conflict here between budgetary and university affairs edits is that in budgetary affairs, they upped the funding to $8,000 for the same 30 QR codes. In university affairs, they upped the funding to $10,000 for 50 QR codes. And so that is my report.
Thank you. Does the author accept these changes? The author has accepted these changes. We'll now move into discussion and debate.
Point of order, don't we need to vote on the conflicting changes?
Yes, yes. Will the parliamentarian please go back to the first conflicting change?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. The first conflicting change is this bill aims to receive $8,000 or $10,000 from the ASCSU General Discretionary Fund for the addition of 30 or 50 more permanent QR codes. I would suggest putting a vote to the Senate for either $8,000 and 30 QR codes or $10,000 and 50 QR codes. Yeah.
Awesome. We will now vote on adopting $10,000 and 50 QR codes. That's correct.
Okay.
All for adding this, please say aye.
Aye.
All against? This is adopted. Will the parliamentarian please present the next conflicting change?
The next conflicting change is the exact same one. And so $8,000 versus $10,000 here within this therefore clause. I would consider this to be adopted by the Senate.
All for adopting this, please say aye.
Aye.
All against? This is adopted. The parliamentarian please present the next conflicting change.
Mr. Speaker, there are no more conflicting changes.
Seeing as there are no more conflicting changes, we will now move into discussion and debate on this piece of legislation, starting with the first race placard. Chair Amy.
Move to previous question.
There's been a motion for previous question. Is there a second?
Seconded.
All for?
Aye.
All against? The ayes have it. We will now move it into a vote. All for passing this piece of legislation.
Point of
Yep.
personal privilege, I would like to motion for a roll call vote.
There's been a motion for a roll call vote. Is there a second?
Seconded.
All for?
Aye.
All against? The ayes have it. This will be a roll call vote. Will the Speaker Pro Tempore please call roll?
Chair Avey,
Yes.
Senator Bildo. Senator Correa,
Aye.
Senator Epperson,
Aye.
Senator May,
Aye.
Senator Mumford,
Aye.
Senator Shepherd,
Aye.
Senator Scherer.
Aye.
Senator Silverheart. Aye. Senator Trout. Aye. Senator Waller. Here. Senator Williamson.
Aye.
With 12 for, 0 against, and 0 abstentions, this bill passes. That is our confidence business. We will now move into executive reports. Is there any member from the
Point of order, ending roll call is before executive report.
we will
And I
now-
would like to motion that we use the previous roll call vote as ending roll call.
There's been a motion to use the previous roll call as an ending roll call. Is there a second?
Seconded.
All for?
Aye.
All against? The ayes have it. We'll now move into executive reports. Is there a member from the executive branch? Chair Avey,
To allow time for, oh, never mind, sorry. Didn't see you.
Vice President Goverson.
Hi, everyone. I just have a few quick SFRB updates for you all. So we voted on last week's presentations. We actually only had one. It was a CSU Health Network Center, and they had a mandatory increase of $1.72. So we approved that. And then this week we had the UCA and ALVS that came to visit us. And there was no increase for the UCA, but we did vote no on the legitimacy for the UCA. So if you have more questions about that, come and talk to me. And then next week we have the Career Center, but UCA is not requesting an increase, just so y'all know. And then next week we have the Career Center and the Women Gender Advocacy Center coming to present. And so if you have any questions that you would like us to ask, or you would like to attend the meeting, let me know and I'd be happy to answer. Thanks, y'all. Any questions?
We will open time for Q&A, starting with the first raised placard. Senator Silverheart.
Just out of curiosity, do you know why the health center was asking for an increase in student fees?
Yeah, so they weren't asking for an increase particularly, they just have a mandatory increase that sometimes occurs every few years. And so that mandatory increase is kind of like for either payments to their employees or special circumstances. But a mandatory increase is pretty much like if wages go up, then they have to get an increase as well. So,
Understandable.
yeah, they didn't ask for an increase besides the mandatory cost.
Perfect. Is that able to be rejected then, if it's mandatory?
It can be, but it's highly not recommended.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you so much. Let's say I resign. I give back my time.
Of course.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Senator Trout.
What was the increase one more time?
Yeah, it's, sorry, $1.72.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I yield.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Mary.
Yep, and just a quick thing, if y'all are interested in coming to the presentations, just listen in, have input, you're more than welcome to do that. Come and talk to me, and I'd be happy to send you all the schedule as well. All right, thank you.
We will now move into our parliamentarian report. Kevin Clark.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and good evening, Senate. My report will be a little brief. Just wanted to give you all a few updates on what I've been working on this past week since I've been elected. We have created a documents tab on the ASCSU website. We have taken the old Senate page and moved it up into its own dedicated tab to include documents from the judicial and the executive branch as well, and creating basically just one big place for all of us to store our documents. I suggest that y'all check it out when you have a chance. We have also published the new legislation tracker as well. Please bear, it is a work in progress. There are some details that are still to be filled, but it is moving along, and every day is getting a little bit better. And so, yeah. In addition to that, I also had the pleasure of attending our legislation night on Monday. There was only one person there. Shout out to Senator Waller. And yeah, I would love to find a time either with Speaker Pro Temp Baum or Officer Torres Doxy to try and find a better time for all of us to try and meet together and come up with some new ideas for legislation. In addition to that, and just referencing back to Chair Athey's legislation tonight, I would love to find a corp board for this office. If anyone else is interested in finding a corp board, please let me know. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield.
Thank you. I will now open 10. Oh,
I was asking that you yield to me for a second.
I yield to Chair Athey.
I just want to say that we found a cork board in surplus. I just have to figure it out. Marcus found it.
perfect. I will now open time for Q&A. If anyone has any questions for Senate leadership, now is the time to express that. Seeing none, we will now move into our we will now adjourn. Thank you.
Good night.